So the carbonate basement in Florida is actually a pretty cool situation. So here we are in the Eocene, and we know that water level, sea level, is still relatively high. Things aren't really going to start to drop off until we get to the Miocene. So even though sea level is less than it was in the Cenozoic, it's still high by today's standards. So Florida is covered by water, and we know that the equator is, somewhere nearby. Because the equator is somewhere nearby, we can expect this water to be very warm. And if this water is very warm and we're close to the equator, what should we expect to see? Hopefully you said coral reefs, which is correct. And if I'm going to see coral reefs, what rock does that turn into? Limestone. And remember, limestone is a carbonate. So all across Florida, we see a limestone basement. Now, what's interesting about this limestone basement is this is what makes all of the sinkholes that we see today in Florida. So what happens, let's say here's the surface. Let's say we've got some rock here sitting on top. This is recent deposit. And down here we have our carbonates. We know that groundwater works its way through. So this is what's happening today. Groundwater is working its way through, and our groundwater tends to be slightly acidic. So what it does is it actually starts eating away at the limestone. So it's going to create these big void spaces. Right? So let's say here we have these void spaces in the limestone, and sometimes these void spaces will connect up. We know those as caves. So really Florida has this huge cave system underneath it. And what happens now is here comes humans. We're going to build buildings on top of all this. So what's going to happen when we put a whole bunch of weight on top of these empty holes? They're going to collapse. And we end up, right, with these big sinkholes. So this area is all going to collapse in here. And so maybe now the topography looks like this. So if you've heard of those big sinkholes that occur in Florida, that's why they're there.